Welcome to the October 2018 Star Wars News Roundup, where we cover all the major movie, canon, and gaming news from the past month. Starting with movie news, Kathleen Kennedy apparently told film critic Eric Weber that the Boba Fett film, which was never fully announced but was at one point going to be directed by Josh Trank, is, at least for the moment, not happening. Entertainment Weekly confirmed that story and said the film would have focused on all the bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back. While I wouldn't have minded seeing a bounty hunter team-up or competition movie, I'm not super broken up about this, especially because Lucasfilm is instead focusing on their live-action streaming show, which sounds like it could be very similar. And TV is where we got the most news in October with the official announcement of The Mandalorian. Jon Favreau confirmed his show will follow a lone Mandalorian gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, with episodes directed by Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Taika Waititi. Favreau went on to share some familiar-looking props, like Wilro Hood's ice cream maker and the long rifle used by Boba Fett in the animated sequence created for the holiday special. The set had a visit from George Lucas later in the month, which gave us a glimpse at one of the sets. Moving on to other canon, a handful of new written stories were announced at New York Comic-Con, most notably the novel Alphabet Squadron, which is still a silly name, but that story will follow a squadron of starfighters as they hunt down the Imperial remnant after the Battle of Jakku. We also got a look at the cover for Claudia Gray's upcoming book, Master and Apprentice. And finally, a new comic series called Shadow of Vader was announced, but that might be up in the air now, as its writer, Chuck Wendig, was recently fired from Marvel, and then the first issue was pushed from its initial January release date. I'm not sure what that means for the future of this series, but the premise was interesting, telling stories of people whose lives were affected by Darth Vader. That's it from me, so now I'm gonna throw things over to Elliot from Battlefront Updates for gaming news.
Thank you, Alex. Starting off with Battlefront 2, that has gotten quite a lot of news and updates this month. We first of all have some bigger picture news where they confirm that Battlefront 2 will get continued support in 2019 beyond the already announced content that spans to February. And we've also gotten a couple of hints towards what this could be based on some data mines that I will get to in a second. They also confirmed the voice actors for the upcoming heroes to the game, which is going to be all the voice actors from the Clone Wars series, which means James Arnold Taylor for Obi-Wan, Matthew Wood for Grievous, Matt Lanter for Anakin, and Corey Burton for Count Dooku. The big news from October is of course the General Grievous update in Battlefront 2 that arrived on the 30th, which of course included General Grievous. But on top of him arriving to the game, we also got health star cards for about half of the heroes, which means that all heroes now have some type of star card that allows them to regenerate health. And they also did some big improvements to the squad system, both in terms of the rule set and the UI that allows you to more clearly see when your teammates need to squad spawn. With the release of the Grievous update, they also released a community update video, the first of its kind for Battlefront 2, where they went over the update, showed off Grievous abilities, and also teased Obi-Wan and Geonosis with these couple of shots. And Obi-Wan and Geonosis are both scheduled to be released on the 28th of November. We also got the community calendar for November, which includes, of course, the release date, as well as all the weekend events that they will be doing, including more Heroes Unleashed events, something that they did in October, where you will be able to play 8 versus 8 heroes in Galactic Assault, among other events as well. And now back to the future of Battlefront 2, because the newest patch for the Grievous update meant that the data miners dug straight into the files, and they actually managed to find these two audio files where Grievous greets both Padme and Ahsoka to the battlefield.
Ah, the Padawan! Senator Amidala, I presume.
The files are actually named Padme and Ahsoka as well, so although the Padawan one could be for anyone, it's very clear that this was meant for Ahsoka. This doesn't mean that they are confirmed for the game, but it means that they have recorded voice lines for Grievous and probably the other heroes for these specific interactions, which obviously means that the chances of getting them are very likely. And lastly, Dennis, the design director, teased command posts out on Twitter for the upcoming large-scale game mode that is coming out in February, which by the sounds of it will be something like Conquest and a Titan mode combined. Moving on to Star Wars The Old Republic, the Fame and Fortune update went live in October, which added a new Huttball war zone on the gas planet Vandin. And as for Galaxy of Heroes, a new hero arrived, which was Jedi Knight Revin, who is now available in the game for you to play as. And I think it's pretty cool of them to bring in some Old Republic era characters into the game, something that games like Battlefront 2, for instance, simply can't do. But that's all for the gaming news, now back to Alex.
Thanks, Elliot. If you want to keep more up to date with Star Wars gaming news every day, subscribe to Battlefront Updates, who provides daily videos about all Star Wars games, not just Battlefront. But that's it for October. The Star Wars News Roundup will return December 1st to cover everything that goes on in the month of November. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to our channels, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.